Have you ever wondered why some of the smartest students still lose scholarships? They have excellent grades, a strong CV, great recommendation letters, sometimes even published research. Yet a few weeks later, they receive one email. "We regret to inform you." Why? Was someone else simply smarter? Did they have better grades? Or is there something that scholarship committees see that most applicants completely miss? Here's the truth. One of the biggest misconceptions among international students is believing that scholarships are awarded to the most intelligent or hardest working applicants. But that's rarely how selection committees make their decisions. After researching the selection criteria of major scholarship and fellowship programs, including DAAD, Erasmus Mundus, Fulbright, the Alexander von Humboldt Foundation, and many others, I found a consistent pattern. These organizations are not only looking for academic excellence, they are looking for the right fit. They want applicants whose achievements, motivation, research plans, future goals, and potential impact all come together to tell one convincing story. In other words, you can be brilliant and still fail to convince the committee. And here's something even more important. Many applications are rejected not because the applicant lacks potential, but because that potential never becomes visible on paper. Scholarship committees cannot evaluate what you could have written. They evaluate what you actually submitted. And that single difference changes everything. So, in today's video, I'm going to share the 5 biggest reasons why brilliant students still lose scholarships, and, more importantly, what you can do to make sure you don't make the same mistakes. Whether you're applying for a master's scholarship, a PhD position, a research fellowship, or a postdoctoral opportunity, this video could save you months of frustration and perhaps even help you secure the opportunity that changes your future. Let's begin. Let's be honest. A scholarship rejection hurts the most when you truly believe you were qualified. You look at your grades, your CV, your recommendation letters, and you ask yourself, what did I do wrong? Here's something I want you to remember throughout this video. Being an excellent student is not the same as being an excellent applicant. Those are 2 different skills. I was once an international student with big dreams, just like many of you. I earned my PhD in Germany, received scholarships, and over the years I've had the privilege of mentoring students and researchers applying for master's programs, PhDs, scholarships, and fellowships. And after seeing so many applications, I've noticed something remarkable. The same mistakes appear again and again and again. The good news? They're avoidable. So today, let's uncover the 5 biggest reasons brilliant students lose scholarships, and more importantly, how you can become the kind of applicant scholarship committees remember. Let's begin. The first mistake, and perhaps the most important one, is confusing academic excellence with program fit. Yes, excellent grades matter. A strong GPA helps. Research experience is valuable. Publications are an advantage. Leadership experience can strengthen your profile. But scholarship committees ask a much bigger question. Why is this applicant the right fit for this specific program? Notice the difference. They're not asking, is this person intelligent? They're asking, is this the right person for this opportunity? Let me give you an example. Imagine 2 students. The first student has outstanding grades and an impressive CV. The second student has slightly lower grades but presents a clear vision. They explain exactly why this university, this scholarship, this research group, and this moment in their academic journey fit perfectly together. Who do you think is more likely to receive the scholarship? In many cases, it's the second applicant. Why? Because scholarship committees don't just invest in academic achievement. They invest in people whose goals align with the purpose of the program. That's what we call program fit. And this is exactly where many brilliant students unintentionally weaken their applications. They spend pages explaining how accomplished they are, but only a few sentences explaining why this particular opportunity is the logical next step in their journey. That is a missed opportunity. Whenever you're writing your motivation letter or personal statement, answer these 4 questions in this exact order. First, where am I today? What knowledge, experience, and skills have I already developed? Second, what is my next academic or professional goal? What do I need to learn to move forward? Third, why is this specific scholarship or program the best place to achieve that goal? Not any university, not any country, this one. And finally, what impact will this opportunity have on my future? How will it help you contribute to your field, your country, your institution, or your community? When your application clearly answers these 4 questions, you're no longer just telling the committee that you're an excellent student. You're showing them why you're the right applicant. And remember, scholarships are not awarded to the smartest applicants. They are awarded to those who can demonstrate their potential most convincingly. The second mistake is one of the most common and one of the easiest to avoid. Many applicants write a motivation letter that sounds impressive, until you realize it could have been sent to almost any scholarship or university in the world. Let me explain what I mean. Imagine you're a scholarship reviewer. You've already read 50 applications today. Then you open another motivation letter that begins like this. I have always dreamed of studying abroad because Germany has excellent universities and a high-quality education. Now, is that statement true? Absolutely. But here's the problem. It doesn't tell the committee why you chose their program. It doesn't tell them why you belong there. And it certainly doesn't explain why they should invest in you instead of another equally qualified applicant. This is where many brilliant students lose valuable points. They write about studying abroad. They write about their dreams. They write about financial need. But they forget to answer the most important question. Why this program? Every scholarship has a mission. Every university has strengths. Every research group has expertise. Your motivation letter should demonstrate that you understand those differences, because scholarship committees are not simply funding your education. They're investing in someone who fits their mission. A simple exercise. Before you submit your motivation letter, ask yourself one question. If I removed the name of this scholarship and replaced it with another one, would my motivation letter still make sense? If the answer is yes, your motivation letter is probably too generic. A strong application should feel as though it was written for one program and one program only. Here's a simple formula that I recommend to every applicant. Instead of writing, I need this scholarship because I want to continue my studies, write something like this. I'm not simply applying for financial support. I'm applying for an academic environment that perfectly matches my research interests, career goals, and long-term vision. Then explain. Why this university? Why this scholarship? Why these professors? Why this research environment? Why now? When those answers come together, your motivation letter stops sounding like a request for funding. It becomes a compelling case for investment. And here's another mindset I'd like you to remember. Don't ask yourself, how can I convince them to give me a scholarship? Instead ask, how can I show them that investing in me is the logical decision? Those 2 questions lead to completely different applications. One sounds like you're asking for help. The other demonstrates that you've already thought like a future scholar. Remember this. Don't chase opportunities. Become the applicant opportunities are looking for. When you become that applicant, your motivation letter doesn't sound generic anymore. It sounds intentional, and scholarship committees notice the difference. Let's move on to the third mistake. This one is especially common among PhD and postdoctoral applicants, but I also see it in many master's scholarship applications. The applicant has an exciting idea, an ambitious vision, a meaningful research topic. Everything sounds impressive. Until the scholarship committee asks one simple question. How exactly are you going to achieve this? And suddenly, the application becomes much less convincing. Here's something I've learned from reviewing scholarship and research applications over the years. Scholarship committees don't fund great ideas. They fund well-prepared plans. There's an important difference. Imagine 2 applicants. Both want to improve public health in their country. Both care deeply about the same problem. The first applicant writes, I want to improve healthcare through innovative research that will positively impact society. It's inspiring, but it's also very general. Now listen to the second applicant. During my master's program, I will develop advanced skills in epidemiological data analysis. I will apply these methods to investigate maternal health outcomes in underserved communities. After graduation, I plan to collaborate with local public health institutions to implement evidence-based interventions and contribute to national health policy. Which applicant sounds more prepared? Exactly, the second applicant. Not because the dream is bigger, but because the path is clearer. And that's exactly what scholarship committees are looking for. They don't just want to know what you hope to achieve. They want to know how you're going to get there. Here's a framework I recommend to every applicant. Whenever you describe your research project, study plan, or career goals, make sure you answer these 5 questions. What is your objective? What exactly do you want to accomplish? What is your approach? How will you do it? Why this university or host institution? What resources, expertise, or environment make this the right place? What is your timeline? What will happen first? What comes next? And finally, what is your backup plan? Research doesn't always go exactly as expected. Scholarship committees appreciate applicants who think ahead. Showing that you've considered potential challenges demonstrates maturity, realism, and careful preparation. This brings me to another principle. Dreams inspire scholarship committees. Plans give them confidence. Or, as I'd like you to remember, big dreams may capture attention. Clear plans earn confidence. That confidence is what scholarship committees invest in. Remember this. Potential opens the door. Preparation gets you through it. A clear plan is one of the strongest ways to demonstrate that preparation. Let's talk about the 4th mistake. This one is surprisingly common. Many applicants spend a great deal of time explaining everything they've already accomplished. Their grades, their research, their internships, their work experience, their achievements. And that's important. But here's what many applicants forget. Scholarship committees don't only read your application backwards, they also read it forwards. Let me explain. When a reviewer finishes reading your application, one question remains. What will happen if we invest in this person? That is one of the most important questions in the entire evaluation process. Scholarships are not rewards for the past. They're investments in the future. Scholarships are not rewards for what you've already done. They're investments in what you are capable of becoming. Think about that for a moment. The committee isn't only asking, what has this applicant already achieved? They're asking, what could this applicant achieve because of this scholarship? That's a completely different perspective. Imagine 2 applicants with almost identical academic records. The first applicant ends their motivation letter like this: I hope this scholarship will help me achieve my career goals and contribute to society. It's positive, but it's vague. Now listen to the second applicant. This scholarship will allow me to gain advanced training in infectious disease epidemiology. After completing my master's degree, I plan to work with national public health institutions to strengthen disease surveillance systems and improve outbreak preparedness in underserved communities. In the long term, I aim to contribute to evidence-based public health policies across East Africa. Can you hear the difference? The second applicant isn't simply describing a dream. They're describing a future that feels realistic, specific, and achievable. That's exactly what scholarship committees want to see. Here's a simple technique. Whenever you describe your future, don't write wishes. Write cause and effect. Instead of saying, I want to make a difference, say, this scholarship will enable me to develop advanced skills in. Those skills will allow me to. As a result, I will contribute to. Do you notice the difference? The first sentence expresses hope. The second demonstrates strategy. Scholarship committees fund strategy. And here's something I always remind my students. Don't just tell the committee where you want to go. Show them the bridge that will take you there. When they can clearly see that bridge, they begin to imagine your success. And that's a very powerful moment in the evaluation process. Remember this. The future isn't something scholarship committees guess. It's something you help them see. Now we've reached the fifth, and perhaps the most underestimated mistake. It's not about your GPA. It's not about your research experience. It's not even about your motivation letter. It's about the small details that quietly weaken an otherwise excellent application. Over the years, I've seen brilliant applicants lose opportunities because of things they considered minor. A missing language certificate, an outdated CV, a recommendation letter that was too generic, a research proposal that didn't match the motivation letter, or simply failing to follow the application instructions carefully. Here's what many applicants don't realize. Scholarship committees don't evaluate your documents one by one. They evaluate your entire application as one story. Every document should reinforce the same message. Your CV should support your motivation letter. Your motivation letter should support your research proposal. Your recommendation letters should confirm everything you've already demonstrated. When all of your documents tell the same story, your application becomes much more convincing. But when they contradict each other, the committee begins to lose confidence, and confidence is everything. Before you submit any application, I recommend one final check. I call it the 3 C's. Completeness. Have I submitted every required document? Consistency. Do all my documents tell the same story? Clarity. If I were reviewing this application for the first time, would I immediately understand why this applicant deserves the scholarship? Those 3 questions have helped many applicants identify weaknesses before pressing the submit button. Remember this. Excellence isn't only about what you achieve. It's also about how carefully you present it. Scholarship committees don't see your intentions. They see your application. Your future doesn't change the day you become more talented. It changes the day you learn how to demonstrate your talent convincingly. Before we finish, I'd like to share a story. Not about one specific student, but about a situation I've seen many times while mentoring scholarship applicants. Imagine an international student applying for a fully funded master's scholarship. She has excellent grades, research experience, volunteer work, strong recommendation letters. On paper, she appears to be a very competitive candidate, but her application is rejected. Why? Not because she lacked ability, but because her application didn't clearly demonstrate it. Her motivation letter focused mostly on her personal story instead of explaining why the scholarship was the right fit. Her career goals were too general. Her recommendation letters praised her character, but didn't clearly highlight her academic strengths. And her application documents didn't tell one consistent story. Several months later, she applied again. The remarkable part is this. She didn't become more intelligent. She didn't suddenly earn another degree. She didn't transform overnight. What changed was the way she presented her potential. She clearly explained why the program matched her goals. She connected every document to one central message. She demonstrated not only what she had accomplished, but what she would accomplish because of the scholarship. And this time, she was successful. That story contains one lesson I hope you'll remember. Sometimes, the biggest improvement isn't becoming a stronger person. It's becoming a stronger applicant. Your future doesn't change the day you become more talented. It changes the day you learn how to demonstrate your talent convincingly. If you remember only one thing from today's video, let it be this. Scholarships are not awarded to the smartest applicants. They are awarded to those who can demonstrate their potential most convincingly. And that's good news. Because it means success isn't determined only by talent. It's determined by preparation, by clarity, by strategy, by understanding how scholarship committees think. Throughout this video, we've explored 5 reasons brilliant students lose scholarships. Not to discourage you, but to help you avoid the same mistakes. Because every application you write is an opportunity to improve. Every revision makes you stronger. Every rejection teaches you something valuable. And every step you take brings you closer to becoming the applicant opportunities are looking for. Here's my challenge for you. Which of these 5 mistakes do you think is the biggest risk in your own application right now? Write it in the comments. I'd genuinely love to hear your thoughts, and if you'd like me to create the next episode on topics such as how scholarship committees really think, how to write a motivation letter that stands out, can you win a scholarship with a low GPA? Then make sure you subscribe and join me in the Scholarship Success Series. Because my mission isn't simply to help you find scholarships. My mission is to help you become the kind of applicant scholarships are looking for. Remember, potential opens the door. Preparation gets you through it. Don't chase opportunities. Become the applicant opportunities are looking for. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode of the Scholarship Success Series.